everybody, how you doing? It's Mr. Lynn here. Hope you're having a great day. It's springtime in Florida. Warm but not cold. No, warm but not hot, cool but not cold. It's good stuff. All right, so today I'm going to have a lesson about how to add value to a snake to make the snake look more realistic, right? So I don't love snakes, but they're super fun to draw. They're very important in ecosystems, and a lot of them have really cool patterns on them. They're really easy to draw because it's just kind of like a curvy line. It's the first thing. Then the second thing is another curvy line. It's almost parallel, and those lines get closer and closer until you get to the tail. So kind of easy to draw. And also, snakes have cool patterns. And so what we'll do is we'll draw the snake, and then we're going to use the pattern of a coral snake today. Now, I live in Florida. Coral snakes are all over, but there's a coral snake in Florida. Sucker is poisonous, very dangerous, also kind of slow, but still, be careful. You see a snake like we're going to look at today, don't go near it. Now, to be real, there's a snake called a scarlet snake, which looks very similar to coral snakes. They both have red and black markings on them. One's poisonous, one's not. Don't you worry about it. You see one, stay away. You hear me? Stay away. So this will be a good, video to learn what kind of snakes to watch out for. Also be a lot of fun. So we're gonna use pencil first, and we're gonna do some shading. We're gonna go from dark value to a lightest value back to a dark value on the snake to make it look like it has form. It's like a cylinder. Then take some colored pencils and do the same thing but with color instead of just with a normal pencil. Well, let's get to it, shall we? So I got my sheet of drawing paper here. I'm using a simple drawing pencil. This is a pencil made for drawing, but it's just like a normal everyday pencil. So my favorite thing about this pencil, by the way, no eraser. I'm going to practice one of my favorite sayings, which is draw light until you know it's right, then go darker or trace with a marker. So, coral snake. Now, to draw any snake, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to start with a curved line. Now I'm drawing nice and light. So that's one. Now I guess I'll make the head over here. So kind of draw somewhat of a U shape for the head. Different snakes have different shaped heads, but I'm just giving mine kind of a simple curved line for a head. And then I want those lines to be parallel. As I get to the end of the snake, I do want those lines to move closer together so they stop becoming parallel and then eventually come to the end. So pretty easy to draw. And now the pattern for the snake. Now this is a coral snake, which is highly venomous and easily confused with the scarlet snake. So they have similar patterns. Scarlet snakes not venomous at all. Coral snakes very venomous. However, they don't bite too quick, from what I understand. So this will be a good cautionary tale kind of drawing so we can learn which snake is which. The pattern for the coral snake is kind of like a large rectangle and then a small rectangle. Now you can see when I'm drawing these rectangles, and I'm drawing light, I'm using pretty straight lines. To give this drawing shape, we want to bend those lines. So instead of a straight line, I'm going to draw a bended line. I would say, you could call these like smiley faces. Sideways smiley faces, right? And that will make it look more three-dimensional just by bending the line. So the pattern for this snake is you got a big black rectangle followed by a skinny yellow one, and then a big red rectangle followed by a skinny yellow one, and then back to black. So it goes black, yellow, red, yellow, black, yellow, red, yellow. So pretty much the yellow is in between each black and red rectangle. Scarlet snake is similar colors, different patterns. All right, so There you go. And already, just with those curved lines, it looks a bit more three-dimensional. So, when we're talking about value, value is the darkness or lightness of color, or a mark. So I'm just going to use the pencil first, and at the, how to describe this? Let's just say we're looking at the snake outside, and it's asleep on a patio, so it's kind of safe to look at. You don't want to sneak up on a snake. But let's say that the sunlight's coming from what we're looking at. So if the sun's shining from above, the sun will hit the top of the snake here first. So the lightest value will be on top. And as the shape of the snake curves around, the darkest value will be here towards the edge. So let's just choose. I'll choose this one right here. I'm gonna make this one be the kind of the darker, the black part of the pattern. See if I can zoom in here. So I'm starting dark, and I'm getting lighter, and here at the top is the lightest, right? Same on the other side. I want to start with darkest value and come up to the lightest value. Right? I don't draw snakes too often, but when I do, I don't make the highlight right on the very middle. I kind of have it like off to the side a little bit. So let's say that's the black part of the snake. This might be the red one. So, black isn't a color; it's a value, but it's really dark. So I'm gonna make the red here. Of course, I'm using pencil. I'm not using color pencil yet. But again, I want to make this value start darker. And I just press down less and less. When I get to my highlight, I'm barely touching it at all. So here, start with the dark value, put less and less pressure on the pencil, shading it to a light value. The highlight's right there. Even come back. Now this is yellow here. So, yellow is probably a lighter color in general than these other two. So I'll make that even a lighter value. And to me, that already has depth. And there's no color yet. Now I'm going to move to colored pencils next because I like colored pencils. And I love the color patterns in these snakes. When I get to my colored pencils, I'm going to use the same strategy, right? So, if I'm using a red colored pencil, the darkest value of red is going to be here on the side, and it'll get lighter to the highlight. Same with the yellow, same with the black. So let's switch out. Here we got a cranberry colored pencil. Cranberry is kind of like a darker crimson red. It's got a pretty sharp point on it. With colored pencils, usually the sharper the point, the darker the value you can get. Colored pencils can be tricky to sharpen, so I don't use them too much. But when it comes to adding value to things, I do like to use them. Alright, so starting off with this cranberry color, which is kind of almost like a, now that I'm using it, it's almost like a reddish violet. It's kind of nice. So I'm pushing down pretty hard here to get the darkest value that I can. And you can see that the lines that I'm drawing are the direction of, I should say, the direction of my pencil lines, or are kind of go with the shape of the snake. I would definitely not go side to side. You could kind of follow the curve of this, of these lines like this. So if you're gonna go across the snake with your lines, do it with the curve. But I like it better like this. Alright, so I'm using the cranberry, which is almost like a reddish violet. And I'm making the darkest value here. I'm starting to use less and less pressure, which will make the value lighter. And when I get up here towards the highlight, I'm barely using any pressure at all. The highlight like I said earlier, I don't want the highlight to be in the middle, just past the middle. So I'm going to come from the other side. Darker value there at the side. And lighter, lighter, lighter. Highlights on top. You can blend a little bit more. Alright. Looks pretty cool. My black color pencil. Same thing. Want my darkest value here. Now it's kind of up to you, the artist, if you want to trace the drawing that we did in marker or leave it in pencil. It's really personal preference. I tend to like really dark, bold lines with my drawings, but I decided not to trace it today. If I was going to trace it, I probably would have used a black Sharpie, which is what I love to use. However, you know, you're an artist, so if you want to use like a green for green lines or blue lines, that could be a fun kind of spin. Kind of a creative way to have fun with your drawings. So there's the highlight, right? So darker values, middle values, lighter values. So that's the lightest. See how the highlight kind of runs all the way through here. So now let's get a yellow. All right, the title of this yellow is called Yellow Goldenrod. So usually those super bright yellows are called canary yellows. So again, I'm pushing down pretty hard here on the edge, and then less pressure, less pressure, less pressure. Back to the other side. There we go. So far so good. I'm going to do some more of this. I'm going to color a bunch. It's very satisfying. I like the way it looks already. Alright, so this is what I got so far, and you can see over here, this is the pencil that I was just kind of practicing with earlier. So before you get into color, I would practice just with the pencil. Go from a darker value up to your lightest value in the highlight. And again, my highlights are not in the middle of the snake, they're kind of off to the side a little bit. That just makes it look a bit more interesting. And then I got my color pattern. It took me about 10 minutes to do this. I think that the time lapse is like 15 seconds. So I'm gonna put the camera down and color the rest of it because I just love how it looks once you got a bunch of these segments colored in. So I'm gonna put on some music and have fun coloring here for a bit, folks. So I finished adding the color and the value. You can see the highlight runs from the tail all the way down the body to the neck. Pretty cool. And so when I did the face, I just made the edges all dark value and got a bit lighter on top. So you can get a little 3D look. I told you earlier that on this one I did not trace my pencil lines. I really want to. I really do. But I think I'm going to leave it just like this. But as you see, whether you use color or not, you know, you could color with just pencil, is what I'm saying, or colored pencils, or crowns, or pastels, or whatever. The darker value is going to be on the side. It's going to go to the lightest value, the highlight on the top somewhere, and then back to the darkest value. That will give your snake a three-dimensional look. It's a fun exercise and very satisfying. So, you have a great day. Let's look forward to drawing with you soon.